You walk into a room and the door swings shut behind you. It weighs half a ton. For the first time in your life, you hear nothing. Not the quiet of a bedroom at midnight, not the quiet of a forest after snow. Real zero. The background level in this room is minus 20.6 decibels. The threshold of human hearing sits at 0. This room is 20 decibels below anything your ears can physically detect. There is sound your body makes, and now you will hear all of it. Almost nobody stays inside for long. The question worth asking is why, and it has very little to do with the silence itself. Let's start with what we know for certain. This is an anechoic chamber, Orfield Labs in Minneapolis. In 2012, it entered the Guinness Record Book at minus 9.4 decibels. 3 years later, a chamber built by Microsoft in Redmond took the title, minus 20.6 decibels. So how is a room like this made? Fiberglass wedges cover all 6 surfaces, including the floor you stand on. It's a room suspended inside another room. The inner shell rests on springs, cut off from the building's foundation. Vibration from the street never reaches you. Sound goes into the wedges and never comes back. Clap your hands and the sound dies the instant you make it. Speak and your voice comes out flat and dead. There is nothing left for it to bounce off. Your brain has run on constant background noise your entire life. Strip that away, and it starts to hear what the noise always covered. The beat of your own heart, blood pushing through the vessels in your neck, air moving in and out of your lungs, your joints creaking when you turn your head. A single swallow lands like a drum hit, and then your balance starts to go. Part of how you know where you are comes from how sound reflects off the walls around you. To your ears in this room, the walls are gone. Most visitors end up sitting down on the floor. Standing upright starts to feel impossible. The thing you came here to feel was quiet. What you actually feel is your own body, uncovered. Right now, someone is thinking, so what? It's just quiet. Isn't quiet the thing we pay good money for? Isn't it what people drive into the mountains to find? This is the part that surprises people. You have never actually heard real silence. Even in the most remote natural place on the planet, the background still measures around 20 to 30 decibels. Wind over the ground, insects, your own footsteps. 0 decibels does not exist anywhere in nature. The only way to reach it is to build it. And the moment you do, it turns on you. Go back to 1953. 2 researchers, Heller and Bergman. They sat 80 people with completely normal hearing inside a soundproofed room. Within 5 minutes, 94% of them reported something. A ringing, a low hum, a high-pitched whine. That sound has a name. Tinnitus. And it is not a disease of the ear. It's a signal your brain generates every second of your life. You don't notice it because the world outside is louder. Take the world away, and what remains is the background hiss of your own nervous system. The silence made no sound. You did. There is something stranger going on. Even a perfect chamber could never reach total silence. The air itself will not allow it. Air molecules are in constant chaotic motion. They keep colliding with your eardrum thousands of times a second. That faint drumming is thermal noise, about minus 23 decibels. Below that number, silence simply does not exist. This isn't a matter of better engineering. It's a physical limit. The Microsoft chamber got within a couple of decibels of it. Humans built a room that pressed right up against the edge of what silence can be. And still, inside it, people fall apart. You have probably heard the famous claim, nobody has ever lasted longer than 45 minutes in there. That line traveled across the entire internet. It has no scientific backing at all. It grew out of a single newspaper piece, and people repeated it until it became fact. People have sat inside for well over an hour. Some of them stayed perfectly relaxed the whole time. So don't let the myth die quietly. Turn it over. The real story is better than the rumor. Silence is not the thing that breaks people. What breaks them is what the silence uncovers. Once the outside world goes quiet, there is only the inside left. And the inside was never quiet to begin with. Sensory deprivation was never studied for entertainment. In the 1950s, at McGill University, volunteers were placed in conditions with no light, no sound, no touch. They were paid to do nothing, and most quit fast, because within a day or two, something started. Healthy students began to see and hear things that were not there. Here's the key. Your brain is a prediction machine. It spends every waking second guessing what comes next. Cut off the incoming signal, and it does not switch off. It keeps predicting with nothing to correct it. So it builds a world out of nothing. People in the quiet room hear footsteps behind them. They hear voices whispering, a name being called. In a room where there is nothing and no one. The silence didn't send anything in. It just stopped covering what your mind does on its own. Now step back out of the room. Look at how the rest of us live. We are afraid of silence, so we make sure it never arrives. Headphones the second we step onto the train. A television talking to an empty apartment. A podcast running just to fall asleep. Music in the shower, radio in the car, a fan we don't need for the air. We keep sound around us so constantly that a single moment without it feels wrong. We call the quiet at 2 a.m. a problem and reach for the phone. But go back far enough and the quiet was simply the night. For 300,000 years, your ancestors fell asleep in a world where sunset left only 3 things. Firelight, their own breathing, and the voices of the people beside them. No engine, no screen, no hum from the wall. The loudest thing in the dark was a heartbeat and a story. That is the silence the quiet room hands back to you. All at once, with nothing to soften it. And that is why people can't stay. It was never the silence pushing them out. It was meeting themselves with the volume turned all the way down. You have never once heard real silence. The closest you will ever get is a room that took years to build. And if you ever sit inside one, the last sound left in the world will be you. Your heart, your blood, your breath, your own nervous system humming. You just spend your whole life too loud to notice it. Tonight, the room around you is full of sound you stopped hearing years ago. The fridge, the wires, the city outside the glass. Turn all of it off and you still would not reach zero. Somewhere under all of it, quietly, there is only you. Still running, still making noise, still here.